Hello and good morning. It is week 2, if you can believe that, and next week you probably will have a little test. So let's take a look here. I want you to find area and perimeter of that first one. Well, that's a trapezoid. So let's see how you did. Well, perimeter is easy. Do you know what the word perimeter means? Well, it's the distance around, so it's going to be 5 plus 8 is 13, and 3 is 16, plus 4 is 20. So that's going to be 20 inches. You don't need to put the 1 unless you want to. Area is 1/2 the base times the height. Nope, I take that back. 1/2 the height times the sum of the two bases. Now, do you know what the bases are? The bases are the ones that are parallel. So 1/2 the height, well, the height is where this box is, so put a 3. Now, if you say the bases are 5 plus 3, you're going to miss it, because 5 and 3 are not parallel. They intersect about right there. Okay? So in that case, you've got to get rid of this. It's the ones that are parallel. Now you might say, well, how do I know? Put some dots on here. You see how it touches the 3 and it touches the 8. So 3 is the height, and 8 is one of the bases. So the other base is 4. Now this is right. So it's going to be divided by 2, which is 1/2. That's going to be 12 times 3 is 36. And half of that is 18 square inches. Remember, area is the inside. Okay, the good stuff on a pizza. The crust is like perimeter. And they call it circumference. Okay? Well, let's take a look at this next one here. And this is what we're doing today, so pay attention. These are signed numbers. I gave you 2 rules for this. Do you remember rule 1? Same signs, what do? You add and keep the sign. Okay, copy that down. Number 2 is opposite signs, you subtract and keep the sign that you have more of. Well, let's look here. This one looks like this one, so they're the same. So first step is add, I get 6, and keep the sign negative. Next one is a double sign. So this one is a plus, negative times a negative. So I have a negative and a positive. That is opposite signs, so I subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. And I keep the sign that I have more of. I have more positives, so it's going to be a positive. You could put a plus if you want. You don't have to. The next one is a positive times a negative. Those are double. Now, these are the same, so I add them up and get -6. Make sure you understand, okay? All right, finally, the last one. This is a positive times a negative is a negative, so I'm going to rewrite it. -27 plus -12 plus 13. Okay? Next, these are opposite signs, so I subtract, and I have more positive. So it's going to be a -27 plus 1 gives me, these are opposite signs, so that gives me a -26. I have more negative. And that's all we're doing today. So your work is out of the book. I'm going to put this on the homework wall. Remember, work for the week is due tomorrow, but I'm going to give you through Sunday. Have a good day. Let's talk about geometry now. Let's take a look at this one here. All right. It says, let me leave this up here. All right, there's your bell work. Let's take a look. If it is 6 p.m., then it is time for dinner. The converse, you switch. Write that down so you know. Inverse is opposite, and contrapositive is both of those. That's how you memorize this, okay? So the converse, we're going to put this in the front. If it is time for dinner, so if dinner time, then 6 p.m. Now I kind of abbreviate it, but there you go. The inverse is the opposite. You leave it the same way. So you say if it is not 6 p.m. So if not 6 p.m., then it is not time for dinner. Now you got to write all that out. I'm just abbreviating. The contrapositive, you got to put this first, but you got to change it. Remember, it's both. You got to switch and opposite. So if it is not time for dinner, so if not time for dinner, then it is not 6 p.m. Okay, so switch and opposite. Let me go over this with you here now. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to do this. All right, so just take a look at my hand here, okay, my fingers. If it's converse, you got to switch. Okay, if it's inverse, you just change them. Okay, if they say it is, you say it's not. You got to change both of them. Okay, contrapositive, you got to switch and change. Okay, so take your hand, switch and change. All right, so memorize that. All right, we talked about, or I wanted to talk about biconditional. So copy this down. A biconditional uses something called if and only if. And that means the hypothesis has to be true and the conclusion has to be true. Both the hypothesis and conclusion must be true. Tonight I want you to go online and look up truth table and watch a video online with that. All right, so look here. If an animal, let's circle the word if and let's circle the word then. Okay? Which one is your hypothesis? Remember, after the word if is your hypothesis. Underline the conclusion. Well, now again, if you include the word if and then, you're going to miss it on the EOC, so make sure you don't. All right. So if it's a panther, then it lives in the forest. I would say that's true. Okay? So the hypothesis is true. It's a panther. And the conclusion is true. All right? They're both true. Now, the way you write it as a biconditional is you say an animal, you leave off the word if, an animal is a panther. It's real easy. If and only if it lives in the forest. Copy that down. That's all a biconditional is. You just use this in the middle. You drop the word if, you don't use if, and you drop the word then. A biconditional only works if they're both true. So if they tell you to write a biconditional, you just use if and only if. Now I'm going to upload the worksheet, but just in case, I'm going to show it to you. This is what we're working on today. So you can pause the video and copy it if you have to. There's one more I need to show you, okay? And it's right here. This is called a Venn diagram, right here. So draw this number 9. Copy down number 9. And the way you do this is, you see how the Olympians is in the middle? If you are an Olympian, then you are an athlete. Okay? That's true. Now let's do the converse of that and see. If you are an athlete, then you're an Olympian. Well, you might not be. Okay? Okay, so it's true this way. All of this is inside of that, so that's true always. But the other way, if you say, if you are an athlete, then you are an Olympian. Well, there are some athletes out here that are not inside the Olympian box. So the converse is not true. So the converse is false. Okay? This one would be, if a bird is a robin, or if something is a robin, then it is a bird. That's true. But if you go inside out or outside in, sometimes. So if something is a bird, then it is a robin. Well, maybe, maybe not. It could be something else. And that's how you do the Venn diagram. All right, we're going to wrap that up. I'm going to give you your worksheets. And that's all we're doing today. If you finish your work, remember everything is due tomorrow, but you have till Sunday to upload it, and I will include a picture of what's due. Have a good day.